Speak back then.
Thank you. Yep. I'm Kieran Lalor. I represent Dutchess County. And, you know, the conversation that we're having today, I've had many times over the dinner table. I come from the private sector. My dad was a small business owner. And my wife is a school teacher, and her father was a New York City police officer. And over many years of our relationship, we've had these conversations, and it took time to explain the difference between how good the public sector has it versus the private sector. And I think that is the message that has started to be delivered today, and that we need to continue to deliver to our friends and our neighbors and our lawmakers with a smile and without rancor, and just say, hey, things like step increases, things like pensions, things like very, very absolute job security that exist in the public sector do not exist in the private sector, and the private sector is bearing all this burden without any of the benefit. And I think that is the case that has to be made. And I've won over my in-laws with this. I've won over my wife with this. And I mean, it could be my Irish charm that won over my wife, but Mike Fitzpatrick knows something about that. But I think that is the case. And when you say, you know, when you say it nicely and you really point it, it is so stark. And what is amazing is I hear lip service every day from politicians. Small business is the engine of our economy, and we love small business, and I say those words too, and I mean it. But there is such a disincentive to be in business in New York State and take those risks and not have any pension, not have any job security. I mean, if you talk to a small business owner and say, hey, listen, you're guaranteed a 3% increase in your revenues every year, he'd probably give you a hug and a kiss, because that is so unusual in the private sector and in small business. And then there are so many incentives to have the security in the public sector, and the balance is completely out of whack. So I'm very excited. I think one of two things is going to happen. We're gonna talk about. We had 5 or 6 members of the Assembly and some great grassroots organizations in a room in the Capitol in January of 2014, and we had the right ideas, and nobody listened to us, and the state went off the cliff, like Mr. Levy said. Or what I think is going to happen, because I'm an optimist and I'm hopeful and I feel the enthusiasm, we're going to look back at this day and this bill and these people and say, you know what, I was in that room that day. There was only 5 or 6 members there and 7 or 8 grassroots groups, but we changed the state and we saved the state that day. And I think that is really going to happen. The numbers and the dollar signs demand that. And I think it's an exciting and hopeful day for our state, what we're starting in this room today. And I thank Mike Fitzpatrick and everyone here today for getting the ball rolling. Thank you.
Thank you very much.